Alright, so I actually tried recording the first session and then, long story short, it got a break in between. I have to redo the whole thing, which is perfectly fine. Moshe's not here today as well. Moshe's not here, but eventually you'll see him on the recording. The Parsha is fairly simple. I'm just going to go till Shani, that you see how quick this can go. Then we'll spend more time on it. Easy, Parshas Noach. El told us Noach. These are the children of Noach. Noach ish Tzaddik Haya Tamim. But the Eretz of Noach was a righteous person, a perfect person in his generation. Eselakim Hasalch Noach. With God, Noach went. Yel Noach Shlosh Banim. Noach had 3 kids. Beshem, Escham, Besyafas. Batishachis haaretz lifnei Elokim, and the earth became very corrupt before Hashem. Vatimali haaretz chamas, and the earth filled with robbery. Vayar Elokim, and God saw us haaretz, the earth, v'hine, and behold, nishchasa, it was corrupted, ki hishchas kol basar istarko, because it was corrupted, the flesh, all flesh was corrupted in the way that they lived their life, al haaretz, on the earth. Everything was doing the wrong thing. V'amralikim, and God said, Lenoach to Noach, Kates kol basar, this is the end of all flesh. Balfanai, it has came before me. Kim malo aretz chamas, the world is filled with robbery. Mipneim, through them. V'hini, and behold, mashchisam aretz, I will destroy the earth. Atzilacha tevas atzi gopher, make for yourself an ark of gopher wood. Kinim with compartments, tasa sateva, make this ark. Bechaparta oisa, and cover it bias umichutz, from inside and outside, bakofer, with pitch to waterproof it. Verzesher tasa oisa, and this is the measurements that you should make for it. Shosha meos amo, 300 amos, orach, the length, hateva of the ark. Chamishim ama rachba, 50 amos in the width of the ark. Shloshim ama kamasa, 30 amos, the height of the ark. Sohar, a window, tasa, you should make la teva for the teva. Ve'el amma techalana, and another amma measurement, you should finish it. Lamala, from on top. Upesach teva b'tzida, and the entrance of the ark, b'tzida tasim tachtia, in its side, you should place with the bottom. And the entrance of the ark on its side, that's where you should put this. How do I understand? The window you should make for the table, and you should finish it on the top of the entrance of the ark, on the side. Okay, that's where you should put the window. Tachtiim, with the bottom, shni, and the second, the shushim pesa, you should make it 3 floors. Vani, and now I, hidden, behold, maybe some apple, I will bring these flood. Maimal aretz, water on the earth, l'shachis kol basar, to destroy all flesh. Ashabur achayim, anything that's alive, mitachas shemayim, under the sky. Chashav aretz, but anything, and the earth will perish. Lakimaisis bris yitach, and Hashem speaking to Noach, I will establish my covenant, my treaty with you. V'basal teva, and you'll go into the teva, atza you, v'nacha, v'ishtacha, your sons and your wife, and Shevanecha, and their wives, Yitach, everyone will go with you. And the animals as well. Mikol Achai, from all living animals. Mikol Basar, from all the flesh. Shtayim, take 2. Mikol, from everyone. Tavi el Teva, bring them to the Teva. Hachi, is to keep them alive. Yitach, with you. Zachar and Keva, bring a male and a female. May Ofla Mineo, from a bird to its kind. Mina Behema Lamina, an animal to its kind. Mikol Masadam, everything that creeps on the ground. Lamina, to its kind. Shnayim, take 2. Mikol, and of everyone, Yavoy Lachalachios. So take 2 of its kind, and everyone that comes to you will be kept alive. Ba'ata, and for you, now, Kachacha, take for yourself, Mikol Ma'achal Shirachal, any food that's eaten, Vasafta, gathered in Elacha to you, Vayalacha, so you will have food for you and for them to eat. V'as Noach k'chol asher tiva oso Elokim kenasa. Noach did. Noach did like Hashem commanded. Noach followed. So we got to Sheni already. Doing the parsha is tedious, but it's not difficult. You just have to plow through it, and the feeling is very rewarding when you do it. I like learning. It doesn't mean it's not tedious. I didn't always like it. It's a process, you know. I have less and less sticky notes in my chumash. Do you see the sticky notes? Yeah, a few. And Hashem sent to Noach, Bo Atov, come, you v'chol beisach and your house al teva to the ark. Ki oscha ra'isi tzadik l'fanei b'darzah, because it's you that I've seen to be righteous before me in the generation. So he's saying to his household, come, I see that you're righteous, come to this table. Kol behemat Torah, and from all the kosher, pure animals, tikach take for yourself shiva. Take 7, because you need them for the karbanos. So we want them to multiply more. Shiva, ish ve'ishto, each one with a pair. Umena behema asher lo tahara, and if it's a non-kosher animal, he shnayim, take 2. We want them to survive, but we don't need them for the karbanos, so we don't need as many. Ish ve'ishto, pairs, man and wife. Game obashamayim, from the birds of the sky also. Shiva, zachar nekeva, 7 and 7, male and female. Malachias to keep alive, are offspring up in echaretz, because it's used for karbanos. Kil yamam od shiva, and in another 7 days, and I'm going to start sending rain al aretz on the earth. 4 days, 4 nights, umachisa, and I will blot out, I will erase this kol haikum, all existence, everything that's on the earth. And Noach did it, just like Hashem commanded him. Noach ben sheish me'ot shana. Noach was 600 years old. When the flood started to go on the earth and flood the earth. And Noach entered with his sons and his wife, and Shevanov and the wives of his son he took with him, because of the waters of the flood. From the animals that are clean, and from the animals that are not clean. From the birds, and everything that creeps on the ground. Shnayim, Bo'al Noach el teva, 2 by 2, came to Noach to the teva. Zachar nekeva, kasher tziva Elokim es Noach. From the animals that are clean, and from the animals that are not clean, and from the birds and anything that creeps on the ground, take 2 and 2, and they should come to Noach to the teva, male and female, like Hashem commanded Noach. Repeating the same idea as before, nothing new. Ve'ila Shavasayam, and it was after the 7-day period of Me'amabel Hayol Aretz, and the flood was on the ground. And in the 600th year, to Noach's life, as we just mentioned before, in the 2nd month, on the 17th Yom of the day Chodesh to the month, was on that day, Nivkeu, burst forth, Kol Mayanos, all the fountains time of the deep depths of the earth. Graba, that was great, Varubais Hashemayim, and the windows of the heavens, Niftachu, opened up. We had Gasham al Aretz Arba Miyam Berbim Lela, and there was rain 40 days, 4 nights. Betzem Yam was in the middle of the day. By Noach came B'Shem Chum Diafas. B'nai Noach, the children of Noach. Veshus Noach, on the wives of Noach. Oshloshes Neshevanav Itam al Teva. And 3 wives of his kids went with them to the ark. Okay? Let's see what we're talking about here. In the middle of the day, Noach came with his kids and his wife, and with his wife's kids into the teva. And every its type, every domesticated type animal to its type, anything that creeps on the ground, to its type, and any bird to its type, any bird, any kind of wing. And they came to Noach to the Teva, Shnayim, 2 by 2, Kol Basar Sherbar Rachaim, anything that's alive, Va'abayim, and those that came, Zachar and Keva, male and female, Kol Basar, from all the flesh, but came, Asher, Tziva, Oisel, Kim, that Hashem commanded, Vayiskar, Vade, and Hashem shut it on his behalf. So they were still able to go in after the rain started. Interesting. And the Mabel started 40 days it's Vayirbuamayim, the water increased, Vayisu Asateva, raised the Teva, with Harmei Alaretz, and it was lifted from the ground. Vayigbuamayim, the water was strengthened, Vayirbu Ma'od, and increased a lot Alaretz on the earth. Vatel HaTeva Pnei, and the Teva went Al Pnei, and the ark moved about on the waters, started sailing. Vamayim, Gavra, and the water got stronger by very much on the ground. Vayechusu, and they were covered. Kol Aharim, all the mountains Hagvom that are high. Asher Tachas Kol Shamayim, that okay. How's that too? Yeah. Water got very strong and it was covering the mountains that are high up. They're under the whole sky. 15 amos, upward. Gavramayim, the water got strengthened. Bechusa, and it covered the mountains. Ahar. Vayegva kalbasar, and everything that was alive perished. Haramay salaritz, everything that moves on the earth. Vovishmayim, and the birds. Vov, uvavahima, vachaya. V'chol sharetz, asher salaritz. V'chol adam. Kol asher nishmas rachayim. Anything that was breathing and had a spirit of life. Ba'apav, in its nostrils. Everything that was Becharava on dry land, Mesu died. Vayimach, Skohayikam, and Hashem erased all the existence of Shapani Adam, whether it was on the earth, Adam, Ad Behema, between man and animal, Ad Remes, until the creepy things, Ad Oif, bird to Shemayim, Vimachom and Aretz, and they were erased from the earth. It says blotted out, erased, same idea. Vayishaer, and he left surviving Ach Noach was Noach Asher Ito Bateva. The only thing that was left was just Noach and whoever was with him in that ark. Vigburumayim Malaretz, and the water became strengthened on the earth, 150 days. Beskar Noach, Beskal Chaya, Beskal Behema. Hashem remembered Noach and all live animals, both domesticated and undomesticated. Asher, Ito, that was with him, Bateva, in that ark. Ve'avar Kimrach Al Aretz Vayashokomai. And Hashem passed the spirit over the earth, and the water subsided. Vayisachar Mayonnaise Tohim, and Hashem closed the fountains of the deep. Ba'arubais Hashemayim, and the windows of the sky. Vayikali Hageshem Men Hashemayim, and it was restrained, like Vaychulu, it stopped. Vayikali Hageshem Men Hashemayim. Vayshiva Mayim, and the water returned Me'al Aretz upon the earth. Holoch, continuously. Vashov, and receding. The waters receded from the earth continuously. Vashov, continuously receding. Vechasru amayim miktzeh chamishim amas ama, and the waters diminished at the end of 150 days. About Tanach HaTeva and the Teva rested of Chodesh began the 7th month. Shiva Asar Yom on the 17th day of Chodesh the month Al Hari Ararat on the mountain of Ararat. Might not be a specific mountain, on the mountains of Ararat. V'amayim and the waters Hayu Oloch Chaser. They were continuously getting less and less at Chodesh Asir until the 10th month, Asir on the month, Chodesh of the 10th month of the first month. On the 10th month, in the 10th month, on the first of the month, near Rashi Harim, that's when the visible tops of the mountains were. So the waters were continuously going down and down, less and less, until it was the 10th month. And then on the 10th month, that's when you're able to see the first day of the 10th month is when you're able to see the top of the mountains. And it was at the end of the 40 days. And Noach opened a window, a teva Asherah, so that he made. Then he sent out a raven. And it went out, Yatzo, going forth, going out, Vashov, and returning, Adi Vashas Mayim, until the drying of the waters would be on the earth. So the idea is it should return until there's dry land, then it won't come back. So we'll just stay on the dry land. But then he sent out the Yonah Me'ito from him there was to see Kala Mayim if the waters subsided, Me'alpane Adama from the face of the ground. But the Yonah could not find a place to rest. A calf for its sole, Rag of its foot. But Tashaveh love El Teva, and it returned to the table. Came I'm opening colors because there was land on all the earth. So he sent out his hand. He took it, he brought it to him. Al Teva back to the table. And he waited again, another 7 days. Other ones by Yosef, and then again, then he sent out again the Yonah from the table. So apparently, he first sent the raven, but didn't show up, didn't come back. Then he sent out the Yonah, came back. Then he waited another 7 days, sent it again. And he came back, and the dove came back to him toward the evening time. And behold, Ali Zayas Taraf, a leaf of an olive tree was picked. The fia in its mouth. Enoch knew that the water subsided from the earth, from that olive tree. I wonder. So the trees didn't get destroyed, I guess. And the marble, not true. And he waited again, another 7 days. He sent out the Yonah again, and it didn't again return to him anymore. So it's dry. He knew it was dry, so he wanted to open the table. And then it became the first 600th year of the month, Brishan Bachad Chodesh, the first month. Chavra Mayim, the waters dried up, Mallards from the earth, Vayasar Noach. As Masecha, he removed the covering on table of the table. Vayavini Charu Panedam, and he saw that the surface of the land had dried. Chodesh Hasheni, and on the second month, Bishiva V'Asar Yom, on the 17th, on the 27th of the day of the month, Yavishar, the land dried. Therefore came on Achlemar, and God said to Noach, saying, Semen at Teva, go from Teva, Avta Vishtacha, Vanacha, and Shevanacha Yitach. You and your wife and your children, and your wife and your children with you. Thinking when I do these shir, and if the word came up so many times, I'm not going to define it, because I defined it in the very beginning when it was first said. And if you're listening to the shir and you're like, oh, well, I listened to your shir from Bereshis, and we're up to, I don't know, Parshas Toldos, and you never translated this word, and I'd like you to, I'll be happy to translate it in the next video. But, like, I'm not going to define Ata, you, Ishtcha, your wife, Uvanacha, your kids, and Shevanacha, and the wives of your kids, Itach with you. Like, I already said that so many times, you know, with these words, if you're reviewing or paying attention. Kol chaya asher itcha, anything with you. Kol basar b'ayfa b'abehema. V'chol remes aromos of the creepy crawlies. I said that so many times. Alaretz. Hayeti itach, they go out with you. B'shartu v'aretz. Let them be prolific. V'yishritzu v'yirbu, right? Bartu furavu, and be fruitful, multiply alaretz. V'yitzunach enoch went out of Vanav Ishtu and Shevanav Itu. Kol achaya, kol remes, kol ov, kol remes alaretz, and meshpachosem, to their families, yatzum and teva. They went up from there. V'yiven Noach mizbeach, Noach built a mizbeach l'Hashem. V'yikach mikol behem hatar, he took from all the kosher animals and kol ov hatar. V'yigal olos mizbeach, and he offered karbanos, burnt offerings, on the mizbeach, on the altar. V'yarech Hashem esrech nechach, and God smelled the aroma, that was a nice aroma. Yamar Shem alibo, Hashem said in his heart, lo osef lekalal, I'm not going to continue to curse od es adam of the ground. Again, before Adam, because of man, ki yitzer, slave Adam rab min urav, because the thoughts of the heart of man are evil from his youth. Lo yisavod lahakos, I'm not going to continue to smite and hit Eskolchai, everything alive, Asher Asisa, like I've done. I'm not going to do again what I've done, and I'm not going to bring another flood, because the reason is the thoughts of a man are evil from youth. Okay, sure, there's discussion what exactly this means. Od kol yemei eretz, continuously all the days of the earth, zara v'katzir, seed time and harvesting time, v'kor v'chom, in the cold or the heat, v'kayit in the summer, v'charf in the winter, v'yom v'layla, lo yishbosu, don't stop. Hashem's not going to stop the day, the night, Hashem's going to let the seasons be. God blessed Noach and his sons, and he said to them, be fruitful and multiply, and fill up the earth. And the fear of you, and the dread of you, will be anything that moves Adam on the ground, all the fish of the sea, and that in your hand were given. Anything moving that lives is for food. Yarek, like the green, Asab herbage, and the Sata I'm giving you everything. But do not eat the blood of an animal. However, comes the blood and which belongs to your souls. Edersh, I will demand, miyad kol chai, from every living thing, Edersh, I will demand it. Miyad kol adam, miyad kol eshvach of Edersh, of a man, of his brother, I will demand it. It's never Adam. Soul of a man can't eat the blood. Shofech dam, whoever sheds blood, Adam of a person, Adam by a man. Damai yishafech, his blood should be shed back in return. Kivitzam alikim, asasadam, because God made a person and tzam alikim, and no one has the right to take away someone's life. Batam and puruvu, multiply, and be fruitful, b'shirtz, and be prolific, baratz on the ground, or ruba, and multiply in it. Chamishi. V'yamar l'kem el Noach, and God said to Noach, v'abanav tivskidita with him, lamer, saying, V'ani now I, hini, behold, make him as brisi yitzchem, have established my covenant with you, v'ezarachem, and your offspring, achareyam, after you, esko, nefesh achara, with every being that's living, asher etchem, that's with you, of oaf, v'abehema, with birds, with animals, v'chochas aretz, and with every beast of the ground, etchem, with you, Nicole from everything, Yetzia Teva, that goes out of Teva, v'chochas aretz, and every living thing from the ground. V'akimaisis brisi, I will affirm my covenant, etchem, with you, v'likaris, I'm not going to cut off kol basar oid mimei mabul, by the waters of the mabul, flood. Well, yeah, od b'mabul, I'm not going to be again, to bring again a flood. Shachar starts to destroy the earth. Be'er melikim, zais eis habris, this is a sign of the covenant. Shani Nesan Lachem Beini Benechem, between me and you, Ben Kol Nefesh Chaya Asher Yitchem L'Daros, for generations Olam of the world. Kashti, my rainbow. Nosati, I have set Anan with a cloud. Vaisal Ois, and it will be for a sign. Verse of the covenant, Beini Vein Arts. Vayab Anani, Anne Anan, and I'll be when I place a cloud. Arts on the earth, Venir Asa Hakashas, and you will see the rainbow, but Anan in the cloud. V'Zacharti Spirisi, I will remember my covenant, Asher Beini Benechem. Bin kol nefesh chaya, kol basar, v'lo ye'od hamayim l'mabul l'shachis kol basar. It shouldn't be again a mabul that will destroy the earth. Like I catches on this rainbow and this bow. But in the cloud, the Risa, Liskar, and you will look upon it and remember. B'Yisraelim, the covenant that Hashem made, bein elikim l'bein kol nefesh chaya, v'chol basar shal aretz, v'emar elikim l'nach, zos os habris. This is the sign of the covenant. Sure, can I see that I confirm Beini Uvein Kol Basar? Shalar, it's between me and between all of the flesh that's on the earth. It's actually interesting because I find that Chumash repeats a lot of words. Makes it fairly simple to do what I thought is a big undertaking, a big difficult project. Could be that by the time we get to Parshas Vayera, we'll only define 30% of the words or something or less, because these words are very much repeated. It makes it much easier to learn the Chumash. And they were the sons of Noach who came out of the ark. Shem, Cham, and Yefes. Cham hu Avi Canaan. Cham was the father of Canaan. Shoshela b'nei Noach me'ela natzva kol haaretz. These three kids of Noach, these were the sons. And from these was spread out the whole world. Bechal Noach ish asadama v'itakarm. And Noach debased himself, a man of the earth, and he planted a vineyard. Debased means like he stopped, he took a break, I believe. Ishmanayan, he drank from the wine that he made. Ishaka became drunk. Vayiskel, he uncovered himself, Soval, in his tent. Ve'archam avi Canaan es Arbas Aviv, and Cham and the father of Canaan saw that he was naked. Ve'agid v'shnei achal b'chotz, he told his two brothers outside. Yikach Shem v'Yefes es Samla, and Shem and Yefes took a garment. As Simal Shechem, they placed it on the shoulders of the two of them. Shneim, and both of them, ve'yochlu achronis, and they walked backwards. Ve'chasir es Arbas Avim. They covered the father's nakedness, and pneim achronis, and their faces were turned backwards. And they didn't see their father's nakedness. Vayikatz Noach, Noach awoke Mieno from his wine, Vayida, and knew Exashar Solo bin Katan, what his small son did to him. His small son did something to him, Vayamar, and he said, Ar Canaan Eved Havad Biyalachov. Cursed is Canaan, a slave of slave should be to his brothers. Vayamar, and he said, Baruch Hashem, Elokei Shem, the God of Shem. V'Canaan Eved Lamo, and let the Canaan be a slave to him. By Yeft Okim, and may God extend the heavens to Ephes. By Yishko, and he dwelt. Bali in the tent. By Yaft Okim Ephes, may God extend to Ephes. By Yishko, and he dwelt. Bali in his tent. Shem of Shem, by he Canaan Avi Eved Lamo, and may Canaan be a slave to him. V'chinoach achar ma'abel, and Noach lived after the ma'abel, 300 years, l'chamisha shana, and 50 years, v'hi kol Noach tisha me'as shana, 900 years, l'chamishim shana, 950 years, v'hi almost he died. Baal told us b'nei Noach, Shem cham b'yavas, v'yiladu lahem, they gave birth to them, banim achar ma'abel, children were born to them after the ma'abel. B'nei Yavas was Gomer, Umadai, V'Yavan, V'Suval, Umeshach, V'Siras. B'nei Gomer, the children of Gomer, Ashkenaz, V'Rifas, V'Sodarma. B'nei Yavan, Elisha, V'Sarshish, Kinim, but they've done it. Me'ela, and from them, if they were separated, Ayim, the islands, Agayim of the nations, Artesim in their lands, Ish, L'Shainaim, each according to its language, and Mishpachesem, Begayim, by their families and their nations. V'nei Cham, Kush, Mitzrim, Ufot, Uchnan, V'nei Kush, Savav, Chavila, V'savta, V'rama, V'sachta, V'savtecha, V'nei Rama, Shiva, Udan. V'choshiladas Nimrod, who Hecheli was the first, he was Gibar Ba'aretz, to be the first mighty man on earth. Gibar Tzad, he was a mighty hunter of Name. Hashem Cain Yamar was said on him, Can Nimrod Gibar, like Nimrod, a mighty Tzad of Hashem. He was known like this person, he was so strong, like a strong traveler like this person. Like Nimrod. Vatiana was Rish's Mamachta at the beginning of his kingdom of Babel. Was Babel. Just named the people Babel, the Erich, the Achad, the Chal, Nei, Ba'aretz Shinar, the land of Shinar. When Aretzahi, Yatza Asher, went forth Asher, V'Yivin, as Ninveh, they built Ninveh, as Rehovos, Irin, the city of Rehovos, as Kalach. As Resan, and Resan, be Ninveh, V'Yin Kalach, between Ninveh and Kalach, V'Hi, Ir HaGadolah, and this great city, and city that's great. Mitzrayim, Yaled, Es Ludim, give birth to Ludim, Ves Anamim, Ves Lahavim, Ves Nefatuchem, Ves Pasrusim, Ves Kasluchem, Shetim Shem Pelishtim, Ves Kaftorim, Canaan Yaled, Es Sidon, Bechoros, Es Chis, Ves Havos, Ves Hamori, Ves Gashi, Ves Achivi, Ves Arki, Ves Hasini. Saying the whole history chain and all these names. Will I ever understand why we have to know these names and why these names are important? I don't know. I trust God that they're important, you know. Ves Arvodi, Ves Hatzmari, Ves Hamasi, V'achar Naflutu, after they branched out, Mishpachos, the families of Canaan. He Gavol, Canaan was the boundaries of Canaan. Mitzidon from Tidon, Ba'acha, Gerara, going towards Gerara, Ad Azan till Aza, Ba'acha, Sodoma, going towards Sodom, Ba'amara, Badma, Tzvoyim, Ad Lashan till Lasha, Ela B'nei Cham, Mishpachosam, Lashanim by the languages, Ratzon by the lands of Goyim and their nations. L'Shem and Tishem Yulad Gamhu Avi was born also to him, was the ancestor. Kol B'nei Aver, who lived on the Aver means the other side. Achi Yafas Hagadol, the brother of Yafas the elder. B'nei Shem, the sons of Shem, Elam, V'Ashur, V'Arpachshad, V'Lud, V'Aram, B'nei Aram, Utz, V'Chol, V'Set, V'Geser, V'Amash. V'Arpachshad Yalad as Shalach, V'Shalach Yalad as Aver, V'Aver Yalad Shnevanim, he had two kids, Shem Achad Peleg, Kevayamim Niflaga Aretz, because in the days it was divided. The land of Shem Achiv Yaktan, the name of his brother was Yaktan. V'Yaktan Yaladas Almodad Bes Shalaf Bes Chatzarma Bes Yarach Bes Hadoram Bes Uzal Bes Dikla Bes Oval Bes Avimael Bes Shiva Bes Ophir Bes Chavila Bes Ovav Kol Ela B'nei Yaktan Vehi Moshavam, and was the place of their dwellings. Mesha, extended from Mesha, Ba'acha toward Safra, Har Kedem, the mountain of east. El B'nei Shem Mishpachosam L'Shanim Ba'artzim L'Goyehem, El Mishpachos Me'inach Toldosam, according to their descendants, B'Goyehem, their nations, Me'ela and Neferdu, they were separated, L'Goyim in the nations, Ba'artzim the land, Acharma Ba'afim Ma'al. The Kol Aretz Safa, and it was that the whole earth was speaking one language, V'Devarim Achadim, and their purpose was common. By he ben Nasam, and it was when they migrated. Mikhadim from the east. Vayimtza Vikon, they found in the valley. Birds in the land of Shinar, Vayishvu Sham, they settled there. Vayomar, and they said, Eshel Ego, man to a friend, Havanu Bina Levinim, let's make bricks. Benizrafra and burn, let's for them in a fire, but he lahem Halbena Levin Vachimar, and let them be a brick, a stone, Vachimar, and Butman, which was like a mortar, I guess. Vayalham Lechomer, yeah, it should be for mortar. Then when they said, Hava Nivalanu Ir Mogdo, let's build a big tower. Rosh on the top of Shemaim will be in the sky, but Nasalanu Shame. We'll make for ourselves a name. Penafos, because maybe we'll be dispersed up in Earth across the whole earth. So they wanted to make this big Migdal. Vayera Hashem Lirosa Sa'ira Samigdal, and God descended to see this big tower, Sherbanu B'nai Adam, that they built. Then Hashem said, Hein Am Echad V'Safa Achas L'Kulam. This is one big nation and one language for all of them. V'zeh Hachilam Asus, and this is what they're doing. V'atineu Lo Yibatzer Mehem Kol Asher Yazmu Asus She'ena, and now should it not be withheld? Lo Yibatzer, should it not be withheld Mehem from them? Kol Asher Yizmu Asus, everything that they're preparing and they're proposing to do. I'm going to go down and I'm going to confuse them. Sham there, Sifas in their language, Sharlo Yishmeu Ish Sifas Rio, they're not going to understand the language of their friend. When they try to hear it, they're going to hear different words. And God dispersed them from there on the earth. And they stopped building the city because they couldn't anymore. Akin Krashma Babel, that's why it's called Babel. Kishem Balal, Hashem confused, also past the language. Skalaretz from Movan, the Mishama, and from there Hapitzama was dispersed. Hashem Alpanei, Kalaretz, old people were dispersed. Hail told us Shem. Shem ben Maas Shana, he was 100 years old. Vayolet Esar Pakshad, Shanasayim, Echar Mabel, 2 years after the Mabel. He, Shem, Echari Haludo, Esar Pakshad, Chamesh Meal Shana, he was 500 years old. Vayolet Banim Avanas, and he had sons and daughters. Varpachshad Chai Chamish Shoshim Shana, Vayolet Shalach. He lived 35 years, and then he had Shalach. V'cher Pachshad Achriyaldo as Shalach, his total amount of years were Shlosh Shana 3 years. Rabbi Mal Shana 403 years, divided by Mavanos. V'Shalach Chai and Shalach lived Shloshim Shana 30 years, divided as Ever. V'Chishach Achriyaldo as Ever, Shlosh Shana Rabbi Mal Shana. 3 years and 400 years, and he had sons and daughters. V'chi Eber Arba Shloshim Shana 34 years. Ve'odas Peleg V'chi Eber Achreil De'as Peleg Shloshim Shana 30 years. Rabbi Me'as Shana 400 years, 430. Ve'od Ban Mavanos. V'chi Peleg lived Shloshim Shana 30 years. Ve'odas Ru'u. V'chi Peleg Achreil De'as Ru'u Tesha Shana Ma'as Shana 209 years. Ve'od Ban Mavanos. V'chi Ru'u Shtaim Shloshim Shana 32 years. Ve'odas Surug. At 32 years old, he had Surug. Vechiru Achriel Do Surug. Sheva Shalom 7 years, and Messiah 200 years. So Yoled Ban Vanas, and he had sons and daughters. Vechi Surug Shaloshim Shana Ve'odas Nachar, and he lived 30 years, and then he had Nachar. Vechi Surug Achriel Do Nachar, and Surug lived after Helidas Nachar, after he gave birth to Nachar. Messiah 200 years. Yoled Ban Vanas, he had more sons and daughters. V'chinachar Tisha, Vashem Shana Ve'odas Baruch, and 29 years, and at 29 years after that, he had Tarach. 29 years old, he had Tarach. V'chinachar Ve'odas Tarach. Tisha, after Shana, 19 years, Umas Shana, 119 years. Ve'od Ban Mavanos, V'chi Sarach Shiv'im Shana 70 years. Ve'odas Abram, As-Nachar, As-Haran. Avram, Nachar, and Haran. Gael told us Tarach Helios Avram, As-Nachar is Haran, Haran Helios Lot. Gael Saran al Tarach, and Haran died in the lifetime of Tarach, Aviv his father. Eretz Malata in the land of his birth, the or constant. Vikach Avram and Avram took. Nachar, as Nachar did lahem for them Nashim wives. Shem Ashes Avram Sarai, Shem Ashes Nachar Milka. The name of Avram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nachar's wife was Milka. Bas Haran, the daughter of Haran, Avi Milka, and the father of Milka. Avi Yiska, and the father of Yiska. But he Sarai Akara. Sarai was barren and valid. She was not able to give birth to a child. Vikach Terach Savram Benite, and Terach took Abram his son, Bes Lot and Lot ben Haran the son of Haran, Ben Beno his grandson, Bes Sarai Kalasev and Sarai the daughter-in-law, is Abram the wife of Abram, Beno his son, Besu Tam, and they departed outside. They were accustomed from Rakassim Malachas Arza to go to the land, Canaan of Canaan by Bo, and they arrived at Haran by Haran, Veishu Sham, and they settled there. Bi made Terach Chamish Shanim Umasayim Shana Ve'emus Terach B'Haran. And it was in days of Terach 500 years and 205 years. Ve'emus Terach B'Haran. And Terach died in Haran.